Hello and welcome to the Armchair Pundits Manchester United post-match review show. I'm your boy Monts. And yeah, beaming smile on my face. What do you expect? Old Trafford, back to winning ways. We're turning the screw on Brentford. Thiago walks away with nothing. Not even a sniff, but to be fair, he had plenty of opportunities to get one today. But we were resolute in front of our own goal. Lots of standout performances. But yeah, 3 points at home. Back to winning ways. We look good form-wise as well. Shape and just overall attitude. And I feel like that's poignant because our next game is Liverpool. And I'm hoping to get another 3 points, cement our place in Champions League for next season, and almost take one arm or one hand away from Liverpool and Champions League hopes for next season. So yeah, I think the first thing to mention is the score was close, but doesn't reflect how many opportunities there were in this game. Honestly, this could have easily been 4-3 to United. If Thiago had his shooting boots on and if Kelleher in goal wasn't such a beast as he has shown weeks on week for Brentford. We had an opportunity fall early to Casemiro, and that wasn't too long after Maguire had a chance cleared off the line. You had to get goal line technology involved to see that Kelleher had two strong hands to it, and there was to have been millimetres of the ball left to go over the line for United to go 1-0 up within 10 minutes. But you got to call the moment, you got to call the man. Bruno steps up to take a corner for United. He floats the ball into back stick. Maguire headers the ball back across goal to where the corner came from, and Casemiro's there on the back post, rises earliest and the highest, and gets the ball past Kelleher. That's 1-0 United early on. And to be honest, we definitely deserved it at that point. But you could see how much it meant to United fans, how much it meant to Casemiro, kissing, pointing at the badge. And Bruno was ever so close to getting his 19th assist of the season. But we'll talk about that one a little later on. So you had the likes of Casemiro and Mainoo in the midfield. And the first half, it was their show. Mainoo picks up the ball off of Bruno. He drives past Damsgaard. He gets himself into the Brentford box. He does a little jinky-me-jinky, croqueta, little L-turn, round the back of the defender. Kelleher's coming rushing out to make himself big. He's just laid the ball off to Diallo, who was free as a bird. Diallo's gone for pace rather than power, and it was just lucky enough that I think it was Collins, but it was one of the Brentford defenders that, to be fair, knew not much about it, managed to get a leg on it and put it past the post. And that would have been all Kobbie Mainoo. That would have been all Kobbie Mainoo, to be fair. I don't think anybody could have disputed that. He created it himself. He delivered the show, and all it needed is for that ball to nestle in the back of the net, and that would have probably been one of the greatest goals I've seen. Next to Dorgu's Puskas goal that he scored against Arsenal this season. However, it weren't meant to be, and United pressed on. And that was just one of many key moments in that first half, demonstrating Mainoo's maturity and just, the thought that earlier on this season, he was not included in the side. He was seen as not required or not at the level. Is Ruben all right? Come on, man. You can see that the kids had an abundance of ability, and all he needed was time, and he needed the team shape to suit his playing style. And also, he just needed the backing of the manager. It's so simple. Since Carrick has come in, Mainoo's been a breath of fresh air. And as for Casemiro, leadership in abundance, dominance in the midfield between him and Mainoo. And Bruno. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw a stat saying that Casemiro, he's level on the most headed goals for United in one calendar year. And it's fitting. I think he's sitting on 8 or 9. And without him contributing to some of the key goals that he's had this season, who knows where United would be. Honestly, we're getting goals all over the park, and it's so important that everybody chimes in. Back to the match. Bruno in the middle, Mbeumo down the right, Sesko on the left is 3 versus 2. That is all you want, especially if Bruno's got the ball. We're now outside the Brentford box. He lays it to the left, very, very last minute. Composed, Sesko composes himself. He drops the first defender and he puts it near post and high past Kelleher. Again, Bruno, with his elite playmaking ability, now sits on 19 assists. And just that play alone, with the link up with Mainoo, shows you exactly why the boy is the best player in the league this season. And you got a conversation to have when it comes to, the likes of Ballon d'Or and all of those kind of things. You look around the world, there's not many number 10s out there that's doing what he's doing on a consistent level, at a very, very high level. Bruno delivers the package and Sesko delivers the punch, the killer instinct. And that's all you can ask for. At 2-0, we go into the break. We look good for our 2-0. But Brentford have had chances, yeah? I cannot echo that enough. They've had a lot of chances, and it's just so that Thiago didn't have his shooting boots on, why we were able to stay with a clean sheet in the first half. Carrick was brave enough to make a change earlier on, getting Ahmad off, who had his fair share of chances in the first half, could have easily had a brace, but we could see that we were getting exploited on the flanks with the likes of Potter, more importantly, than Coyote, and we sensed that Brentford might be able to capitalise. So with that being said, Mazraoui comes on. He goes in the back three alongside Maguire and Heaven. And then we push Dalot and Shaw further up. And that leaves the likes of Mainoo, Casemiro, Bruno, Sesko, and Mbeumo on the pitch, just to mix things up and make sure that we've got our defensive structure in place and we don't concede. That was the plan. And it was working well, very well. We stopped Porter getting around the back. Coyote weren't doing much other than his long throws. So, Carrick, absolute masterclass. However, Brentford's late surge, and I'm talking wave after wave of attack, fell to Jensen from about 30, 40 yards out. He gets the ball, he strikes it clean and pure, and it hits bottom corner past Lemems. Dalot and a Brentford player kind of ducked out of the way. I feel like Dalot could have been a bit braver there, but not taking it away from Jensen. What a great strike it was. Now, for the next 10 minutes, United were backs to the wall. We had throw-in after throw-in coming into the box. But again, Casemiro's leadership stands to the fore again. You got Collins marking Casemiro on the front stick. He gets a little nudge, Casemiro goes over. That wastes another 90 seconds. They get another throw-in on the other side. He gets a little nudge, Casemiro goes over again. Collins is remonstrating to the ref to the point where he gets himself a yellow card. But you can see that Casemiro, his wry smile showing you that it's what's up here, mate. My footballing IQ and my experience is really what's surfacing right now. And it showed. Man United, to be honest, played amazing. Was honestly, when you look at this performance against how we performed against Leeds, you wonder how is it such a stark difference. But I'm glad we shook it off as quickly as we did. We needed a performance like this going into the Liverpool game next week. I want a result. I want to make sure that we're going in there. We're getting our 3 points. We're taking one hand off of that Champions League place for them, because this means too much for United. It's a perfect time to get a result like this. Team performance, mentality, and obviously walking away with the 3 points. We've got Liverpool next week. And not only is that, I'd argue, a derby game for United, because it is. It's a real rival game. But we've also got an opportunity to cement ourselves in Champions League. We get 3 points against Liverpool. That would be amazing. Taking one hand off of their Champions League place. That would be that would make my weekend. Another huge win for United. a gritty performance, but you can see the team's growing in confidence under Carrick. Before you leave, I want to make sure that you click follow, subscribe, and share it on all your social media platforms, as we are on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and X. And yeah, I see you next week against Liverpool. Peace.